Marty, thank you. 6:44 on this Wednesday morning. A retired Monroe County Fair manager has written a memoir on her experience as fair manager, and she's now on a book tour. Fran Tepper joining us now this morning to share her experience. Good morning, Fran. How are you?
Good morning.
And congratulations on your memoir.
Thank you.
So, why were you inspired to put this out in a book?
Well, they say if you find a job you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And I was lucky enough to have that kind of a job. And when I retired after 20 years, it was a loss. It was difficult to let go. So since writing is always a way for me to get rid of the doldrums, I decided to write a book about my experiences at the fair and to let people know the crazy and unusual things that happen in the daily life of a fair manager.
Yeah, I think behind the scenes a bit, for those of us who just go out to the fair for a good time, we don't realize the work that goes into it, making it happen behind the scenes. What do you recall about your experience? What was it like for you to take this on?
Well, it was new for me. I came in from being on the board to being in charge. So it was a learning experience, and it was very much fun, very much unusual, and a career that I never envisioned having, but a career that really came to define me.
Yeah. What would you say was a challenge for you managing a fair as big as Monroe County's?
Well, when I first came to the fair, the supervisor of the town had called us a sleazy carnival. And the president of the New York State Association had said we were an embarrassment to the industry.
Wow.
So this is what I was walking into. And it was my goal to change that image and to make it into a family event and something that the county could be proud of.
Wow. We're going to talk more about how you turned things around, but also where can people get the memoir?
Right now it's available on... Excuse me?
Yeah, go ahead and tell us where people can get the book.
Oh, right now it's available on Amazon.com and on BarnesandNoble.com, and also it's available at the Barnes & Noble Pittsford.
Okay, wonderful. We'll have to check that out. Fran, we're going to talk with you more after 7:30 on Fox Rochester, again, talking about how you changed the image of the Monroe County Fair. For now, we'll give you a break, and we'll see you in a little bit. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
The former executive director of the Monroe County Fair is out with a new memoir about her time in charge of the event. Fran Tepper's book is called Fair Lady, Memoirs of a County Fair Manager, and she joins us live. Welcome back, Fran.
Hello.
We're going to pick up where we left off. You described a time when you took over as manager. You were met with some pretty harsh words, you said, from a town supervisor. Describe what you were walking into in the state of things.
Well, as I said before, the town supervisor called us a sleazy carnival, and the head of the State Fair Association said we were an embarrassment to the industry. So there was no place to go but up. Yeah. And I really wanted to turn the fair into something that was a family-oriented event and that's something the community could be proud of. Sure. So we started doing many things. We got a new carnival. We really worked with 4-H so that we could bring in the youth aspect of it. We did a lot to bring in more agriculture because that's really what fairs are about, building community and supporting agriculture. Sure. Because agriculture is very far removed from people these days. Most people are not into farming anymore, and they don't realize the importance of food and fiber in their everyday life.
Right. What would give some people the impression that the fair was sleazy, or why did they have these preconceived notions about the fair?
From what I understand, before I took over, there were fights in the beer tent, for example. There had been some rather unusual sideshows in the Midway.
Okay.
And so these were things that were not really family-oriented, and that's what the community wanted.
And so you really worked to change the image of the Monroe County Fair. Would you say you were successful in doing that?
I think so. By the time I left, the fair had gotten national and state attention, and it was really an event that people began to enjoy a lot.
Yeah.
We're free to bring their families to without being afraid to do that.
Yeah, and I certainly think that is what, at least for me, and maybe many of us, that is what we think of when we think of the fair. We think of a family time to enjoy good food, the rides, and maybe any performances. So certainly you've contributed to helping to shape it in a more positive light. What do you recall about maybe any fond memories, your favorite time as managing the Monroe County Fair?
The years it didn't rain. It was always a problem. There were so many fun things that happened during the fair, some funny things that happened during the fair. For example, I remember one year, just the night before the fair opened, I wandered into the livestock building to find that some of the sheep had gotten out of their tents,
Oh, no.
out of their pens, and they were busy exploring the building. And the only people that were available to corral the sheep and get them back into their pens were two flower show superintendents, a farm kid who hated sheep, and me. Fortunately, I had just watched the movie Babe, so I ran around pretending I was a sheepdog, flapping my arms and making barking noises.
Oh, I wonder if there's video of that.
We managed to get him confined.
We have to let you go, but real quick, I want to ask you, if you were managing the fair right now, how would you handle COVID right now? And maybe advice to others who are kind of in your position now as they try to get back on track.
It's a very big problem right now. And I'm glad I'm not managing a fair right now because the logistics would be tremendous. Keeping your attendance down, keeping people away from each other, wearing masks and monitoring that. I don't have any answers to that. I just know that it would be a tremendous problem.
Yeah. Well, I want to let people know that they can find your memoir on sale on Amazon, also barnesandnoble.com. And we'll put a link to that information on foxrochester.com. But thank you so much for your time this morning, Fran.
Thank you.